gonna roll dice, just like we see, but as you can see here, exactly on the screen, you can see it is better than we thought, is the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Neuron app. He just used it to roll a dice, but it has so many different functions. I suggest you guys that play Yu-Gi-Oh! To just go check it out and download it immediately. It is a game changer, honestly. It has so many different applications. You can also take a scan of your cards. You can use it perfectly during matches to just use life points, die rolls, any tools. And even, which is something very interesting, it can offer a simulation of your opening hand. If you are uncertain about the deck, you can just keep using it so that it shows what you're going to draw.
Yeah, exactly. You can just keep going and see if your deck matches with your choices. And so we suggest you guys to download it also because it really helps you out throughout the tournament.
Yeah, so something to definitely keep an eye on and a must, in my opinion. Now we go actually to the match. As we can see, Marcus won the die roll, went first, and opened it really well. He got his hands on Collapse Serpent and is now playing around Droll and Lock in a way. We'll see if it is gonna come down from Dinka, but what I can tell you is that he's not actually maining it. So we are not gonna see a Droll and Lock here. Standard opening, so probably something similar to what we have seen in round one. But now the big question is, he doesn't know what his opponent is playing.
Yeah, exactly.
And Dinka is actually not only playing Entrops in the main deck, but he is maining the Dark Ruler No More.
Yeah, this is going to make a big difference because if Dinka doesn't have any Entrops at all, he could have the Dark Ruler No More that could shut down the entire field of Marcus Patel. And this could be devastating, actually. But let's see if Marcus here can, for full combo.
Yeah, for now, I don't think he's going to be interrupted. But my main concern is if you see cards, like last round, we got to see that Droll and Lock and Nibiru alone were both not enough.
Yeah.
So if you have Gamma here, where do you think you should wait and use it on? Immediately or later on in the combo?
No, I think you should just wait to your opponent to make some moves before you activate the Gamma. I think I would use it on the Crystal, in my opinion. But or comes the Impermanence or Link Cross.
Okay, interesting.
It's very interesting round, yeah.
Pretty good use here of Impermanence. Not quite Gamma, because he's going to get to keep his monster, but it can definitely hurt.
Yeah, this one could hurt because he prevents Marcus to special summon the Herald from his extra deck. It could be relevant.
Yeah, let's see if he is gonna able to continue. He goes for the Kristen. Is there gonna be another response? Ooh, another Impermanence! Wow, pretty nice opening here from Dinkan. If he has some engine cards, this could be the first time out of 4 games that we have seen Dragon Link losing when going first. But let's not count Marcus out of this one already. So he has a lot of cards in his hand still, and he might be able to continue comboing off. But
yeah, it's going to be very hard. Dinkan was fortunate enough to draw 2 Impermanents, and but I think Marcus can still make some moves here. He goes with the Book Sector Launch and the special summon the Rocket from his hand.
Yeah, and as you can see here on the screen, this is one of the key cards in Dinkan deck building. The Dark Ruler No More. Usually we see it in the side decks, but he was brave enough to think it's going to be effectual against the field today.
Yeah,
we'll see if he draws it. But as you're saying, yet another time the Dragon Link deck seems to be able to go off regardless of the number of entrops in its opponent. Monster Reborn, of course, a way to do it quite efficiently, but now I'm scared for Dinkan because he's down 2 cards. Levianeer is going to get another card out of his hand, which is going to be maybe too much even for his deck.
Yeah, as we said before, this deck is really good on one hand because you can make a lot of combos, but also because your opponent really needs to have the perfect hand traps to stop you, because as we saw before, Dinh Khang had two impermanents, but looks like it's not enough.
Yeah, I think it's one of those decks where they are quite rare to be around, but it's more up to you than up to your opponent.
Yeah.
So not much of a surprise. We are gonna see the Link-Shu we have seen all day long already. Hieratic Spheres, such a powerful strategy, and one of the few things that can actually protect Marcus from the Tyranno.
Yeah, indeed. And also this time we have seen the Dragon Link player not able to special summon the Herald, but anyway, doing his combo with 3 interruptions at the end of the turn.
No, because the problem that I said is, if the end traps are able to stop your opponent from playing the game and ending their turn, then they are doing something quite amazing.
Yeah.
If you're just trading an end trap for an interruption, then you're pretty much not doing anything, because at the end of the day, they don't have an herald on the board, but you have one less card, so you didn't really accomplish anything. That's why I would say it's quite crucial, and I think it's a mistake that people have been doing a lot in the past, to just include cards like maybe Effect Veiler, where they don't actually trade 1-for-1, but they are even a -1 in most scenarios. So Impermanence, it seems to be quite a strange choice, I would say. It's of course better than some matchups because you can top deck it and use it also on your turn, but for now it's not being effective, because we are still gonna see the same opening we saw with Schattenspieler last round.
Yeah, things are gonna be very complicated for Dinh here. He has only 2 cards in his hand, and Marco has the Heretic Seal, Savage, and the extra deck lock.
Pretty good stuff from Marcus. Extra deck is locked. As I said, against Dinh, not the biggest issue, since Tyranno is still able to push, but the Hieratic Spheres is there, so now the goal is to try and find a way to get rid of it before. Do you ever think it was worth to maybe hold the impermanences to try and break the board during your own turn?
Well, the fact is that Marcos had the Monster Reborn, which was very good, so maybe Dinh thought that Marcos needed another extender to go for his combo. I think in this spot, I mean, it depends on what he has in his hands, because Dinosaur could play, okay, he decided to scoop and go into game 2.
Yeah, unfortunately, he wasn't able to come back from that. Not much can be said here. We can just judge his decision, I guess, in deck building, because he doesn't have a draw and lock. I'm not sure, and from what we saw with Schattenspieler, maybe the draw and lock wouldn't have done much, but again, we had a lot of rounds, and as we can see, round 1, draw and lock, not enough. Third game, Nibiru, not enough. And now impermanence, even double impermanence, was not that great. Of course, we are seeing a lot of very, very good ends from our competitors, but it's time to question maybe the decision. I definitely am more inclined to favor the Dark Ruler No More in the main deck. I feel like those can really put in some work for you, because differently from like what I said about Schattenspieler, if you're playing the mirror match and you draw the Dark Ruler No More, you cannot break the board easily because you're still locked under no extra deck.
Yeah.
But if you're playing Dinosaur, that's just perfect, because you use the Dark Ruler and then Tyranno can come down and pretty much clear everything up. Anyway, we now go to the side deck, and it becomes quite interesting, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, Dinh Khang is playing a lot of copies of different hand traps in his side deck as well. So maybe we could expect Dinh decided to go second, maybe. It would be a gamble in this spot, but he's playing Ash Blossom, Lancia, and Lock as well, along with 3 copies of Gammon in the main deck and Impermanence. it would be a risk because as we saw in this match and in the match before, two hand traps could not be enough, but he's playing multiples, and I think Lancia is very good as well for this matchup. But the best one is for sure Gamma and Nibiru as well. It's not gonna be easy, but
yeah,
I think he has a lot of solutions, so he can come back into this game.
I mean, and this is also linked to the fact that, as we said in round one, these players are really experienced, and Dinka might have some play, but he decided to scope also to not reveal his deck to his opponent, because now Marcus is like, what am I up against?
Yeah.
I just saw double impermanence, but that card can be run in so many different decks. So I gotta say, I wouldn't think of Dinosaur on top of the list. Maybe it could be invoked.
Yeah, it could be any deck because impermanence is not that popular in this format. But I mean, most of the players are playing Nibiru, Ash, or Gamma. So maybe you could understand that it's not going to be a mirror match.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite tough, to be honest. He knows that it's only 40 cards, which makes it more inclined to not be a mirror match. But I would be surprised if they sided many of his options. Maybe he can side in the Pancratops. That's always a really good option when going second. But we'll see what his decision at the end is going to be.
Yeah.
Who do you think as the other option or the other advantage, let's say, once we go to the side decks?
I think Dean has a chance now because Dinosaur is good both going first and second, but it's really up to his hand because if he doesn't go for a combo in his very first turn, he could be in trouble. Also because Dragon League is able to push a lot of damage in only one turn. And I think anyway, he really needs an Oviraptor or some key cards in this moment, Dean.
Yeah, let's see. There is also a chance that maybe Dean just let Marcus go first.
Yeah.
If he's confident and just side Dean 9 entrops. Let's see. I would be very surprised if that happened, but it's also an option. Like we saw Dinosaur actually do that sometimes.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen? We're gonna find out very soon who is going first. Yep, just checking out the amount of cards. It's close, yeah. And as not super expected but possible, Dean is very brave and let Marcus go first, siding in 9 entrops. So a total of 15 entrops plus the Dark Ruler in his deck at the moment. Let's see if those are gonna be enough though. Okay. So Marcus, as I said, did decide in the Pancratops even though he didn't know his opponent deck. He drew it going first, but luckily for him, he had the Dragon Raven. That is able to just let him go, but as you can see, Dinkan just shows us the Drone and Lock bird happily.
Yeah, Marcus started with a kind of interesting starting hand by sending the Abstrudel Dragon from the deck to the graveyard. That allows him to search from a Rocket Monster, but a Drone and Lock could be very interesting here, and he passes.
Ooh, wow!
Yeah.
So for the first time, we do see the strategy paying off. Dinkan went second, opened even the Extravagance now, so this is looking really good. Very brave from Dinkan to pull this off, but maybe he thought my opponent is gonna side in cards like RP Feather Duster, Cosmic Cyclone, because he doesn't know what I'm playing.
Yeah.
And that's probably what happened here. Drone and Lock for the first time being quite effective, and Marcus is shut down, and when there is nothing on the field, it's actually super easy for Dinosaur to OTK.
Yeah.
So let's see if he's gonna pull this off.
Yeah, I mean, Marcus could have had a very different start, but unfortunately the Drone and Lock was here, and things are really looking good for Dean here, also because he has the Pot of Extravagance, and okay, here comes the Fossil Dig.
So the Ash Blossom came down from Marcus. Also not surprised. It's a card that you can pretty much safely side in against all of the decks of this format. Still close one, but okay. Seems like this is gonna be enough. So Lost Word comes down alongside Oviraptor. Which is usually more than enough. You can do a lot of cool tricks, and I think this is also the difference between an experienced player and someone who just picks up the deck. So to a lot of people, Dinosaur looks like a very linear deck. You use a man trap, stop your opponent, summon Tyranno, that's it. It's not that easy. You have so many plays now that a lot of the new cards are there, and Michelano is back at 3, so as you can see here, this is one of the best cards, I would say, from the new Dinosaur deck.
Yeah.
So the Archosaur, the Archosaur is a level 1. It can destroy a monster you control or dinosaur you control in your hand, and it allows you to search for the pill, which means you can now cut one of the few bricks in the deck, which was the Overtex, and you don't need to send it anymore with Tyranno. And what's the best about this card is that you can use it afterwards for Linkuribo, which becomes the non-dinosaur part you need for the pill. And not only that, it's also a pretty good normal summon, because as you can see, it allows you to destroy cards like the babies and the petite, so it can really get you comboing off. And I'm not sure if he's using, but some of them are actually, even using multiple copies of the Link 1, so the Secure Gardna and Linkuribo, just because you need as many as you have with Extravagance.
Yeah, now Dink knows that he can push for game. If he is able to special summon the Tyranno, also because he has the double evolution pill, I think he can deal enough damage.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too complicated. With the Lost Word on the field, his monsters cannot be targeted as well, while there is a token on his opponent's side of the field. So, not that Marcus plays like Effect Veiler or cards like this, but Michelano is also making sure that his dinosaurs are unaffected. So, seems pretty good. I just gotta think where his direction comes from, because he needs to find a way to deal with the token, which should be the smallest monster you have. But he has to be careful not to mess up, because the Rex, for example, cannot attack directly. So I would be surprised if Dinkan didn't think of something like that. But
yeah, if he doesn't mess, I suppose he has enough damage.
Yeah.
If he's able to special summon the Neuron, as we said before, it would be enough.
Also, something interesting, you can use the Oviraptor to destroy your opponent token.
Exactly.
So a lot of the interactions possible. And here comes down the pill, so he gets the Tyranno too. Pretty good. Honestly, even if he doesn't pull off the OTK this round, he's gonna have at least a Tyranno plus a Dolka or like a Dweller or a Lagia, whatever he feels like is safer against his opponent deck. And yeah, that I think it's quite a convincing show to us of why Dinkan decided to go second, although he lost the first game going second.
Yeah, it's a very risky choice, but on the other hand, it pays off. I mean, it's paying off, and it looks very good for Din in this spot. So let's see if he can deal enough damage.
Yeah, just thinking about the best way to do it. He goes for the Secure Gardna. Usually you see this a lot more before, because if you didn't use an hand trap, you can have a monster engrave for the peel. But now the Dolka comes down, which is gonna be... I think it's one of the best rank 4 monsters ever made. We go all the way back to 2012 when the Dino Rabbit was
a thing.
But now I think they gotta use also keep in mind the effect of Lost Word, which takes away 500 attack points from every non-dinosaur monster, which makes it so that the secure Garna, as you can see here, Evolzer Dolka, still one of the most powerful rank 4 monsters nowadays. It is not once per chain, it's not once per turn. You can use, it's basically a 2-time effect monster negation, which is extremely powerful. And here, as you can see, Nibiru comes down, but Evolzer Dolka is just gonna take care of it. Do you think he could have used it in a previous spot? Because that's where a lot of summons.
I mean,
or maybe
he could have used it before, right? I mean, before making Dolka, because he has.
I'm pretty sure he summoned
Gardener, Linkuribo, or why not? I mean,
I think he was a little too greedy with his choice of. Now let's take a look. He seems he's quite desperate to find a way to come back. His opponent is not able to use the Tyranno right away. He waits and thinks about this Dolka, but unless Marcus really one-upped him and sided in like the tactics, which we know it. Okay, another drawn and lock shown by Dinh Khang, who is quite happy to drop that card. Because as we were saying, triple team tactics is one of the best cards against dinosaur because you can take control of the Tyranno. So once they use one of their effects, you take control of the Tyranno and you can just clear their old board away, which is amazing. But I would be surprised if Marcus just sided those in against a completely unknown deck.
Yeah, I don't think so. But as you said before, maybe that Nibiru would have changed the game. Let's see.
Let's see. So quick launch. Not the most impressive thing. He still has to go through Tyranno and Dolka. And he went through quite a few of his extra deck options already. Yeah. So the other draw and lock is not pretty, to be honest. We saw how it completely stopped him. And usually when you are in such a spot, you just pray that your opponent is not gonna OTK you, and then you're comboing off next round. But when the first card they activate is another draw and lock bird, oh, you're not happy. So we're quickly gonna go back to us. And for now, we're gonna go back very soon to the match. But as we were saying, it seems like we are probably gonna see another game 3.
I think so. I mean, game 2 was very close. I mean, there was a point in which Marcus could have activated a Nibiru. Yeah. So I think it was greedy, as you said before, because maybe he thought that he could have entered directly into the battle phase. So at the end of the main phase, he could have activated Nibiru. But I think Dinh Khang was smart enough to understand this, and I mean, it paid off. Unfortunately, I mean, Marcus could have. I don't want to say he was in an advantage by activating that Nibiru, but right now it's not looking good. I mean, he has to deal with the Dolka and the Tyranno as well. So, and the draw lock as well. So he has a lot of problems.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a surprise though, to be honest. The list of players we have seen this weekend is just phenomenal. We have a lot of content creators just as well as accomplished players with a huge list of results throughout the years. And I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see every match going to game 3 this weekend. So we are back to where we were pretty much. What Marcus did was used his Rocket and his Striker Dragon to make the Crystal, which is going to get negated by Dolka. And I smell trouble. This might be not that pretty. He's able to use the Fuel spell to just get back the Rocket from the graveyard. And now all he has to play around is the Tyranno. But he's only at 900 life points left. So that's not entirely easy. Do you think you should just use Tyranno here or wait a little bit more?
I think he has to activate the Tyranno, because otherwise, I mean, it's less risky. I would activate it anyway. I don't think how Marcus here could come back after the Tyranno is gonna be activated.
Yeah, absolutely. So no surprise here. He just goes on and uses key card, Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. He's gonna set them up, but I think Marcus Patel has seen enough. Just like in most dinosaur games, Tyranno is the key card to the victory, and we go to game 3. Yeah, not much of a surprise, as I was saying. Both absolutely incredible players.
Yeah, the Tyranno here made the difference, but the Dolka was very good as well. I mean, didn't play very well, not only because of the draw lock, but also he had 2 negations, which were enough for this game too. Now we're going into game 3, and I think things are going to be very interesting, because if Din decided to let Marcus go first in this game 2, I think Marcus should go first anyway in this game 3.
I don't know, it's quite a game of chess, and these are my favorite matches usually, when there is someone doing an unconventional strategy, in this case Dinh Khang, because nobody would expect to go a second on his own accord against the Dragon Link deck, but it paid off. So now Marcus is in a really weird spot. On one end, he now knows what he's up against, so he can prepare much better the side deck for game 3. Also, if he decides to go first, he can just side out whatever he doesn't need and add in some of these side deck cards. I would say that in his deck, there aren't too many options for this matchup. So the Asher Blossom is pretty good.
Yeah. Also, the triple tech. I mean, he now knows that Dinh Khang is playing Dinosaur, and he could maybe understand that his opponent is playing multiple hand traps. So it could be a really good card released on the last set Rise of the Duelist, and I think it could be a really great addition for his deck. Maybe we will say it, maybe not, let's see. But I think Marcus really needs this card.
Yeah, I don't know.
Deck.
I don't think though he's gonna be like, I don't know. I would be surprised if he was brave enough to actually let Dinh Khang go first, because sure, the Dinosaur deck is good at going second, but even when they go first, they can easily make a Tyranno plus Dolka, and they have the side deck cards in as well. So it's a double-edged sword. If Marcus is brave enough, maybe he can pull this off.
I think here Marcus really needs to understand if Dinh Khang is side decking for going second or first, it's not gonna be that easy, but let's see when it comes. I think it's gonna be a really close match. As you said before, if Dinh Khang goes first, Marcus will have a lot of problems dealing with Lagia, Dolka, the Tyranno, but I think he has to go first for this match. And he has to take the risk. Maybe it pays off.
Yeah, I don't know. It's again, it's one of those decisions where if you pull it off, everyone calls you a genius. If you mess up, everyone just thinks you thought too highly of about the strategy, and you should just stick to what you're used to. And I'm not sure whether Marcus is gonna pull this off. As you can see now on the screen, we highlight one of the most hyped cards lately released in Yu-Gi-Oh! Triple Tactics Talent is, I think, also one of my favorite cards. It has incredible flavor because within itself there are a lot of powerful spells that have been forbidden in the past, like Pot of Greed and Change of Hearts. But not only that, you can use all of those effects depending which one is the one you need in the specific situation. And as we already saw, the format right now is mostly monsters that activate an effect during your opponent's turn. So you can see why this card is easily one of the best side deck choice that you can have. Some players are even maining it, especially in the invoked deck.
Yeah, I mean, it's very good also because if your opponent has interruption, you can activate it and look at your opponent's hand if you want.
Ciao.